You ain't nothing but a troublemaker, girl.
Well, the world is certainly getting more complicated. And what are the questions that we should be asking? How do you even know where to focus your attention? Do you really understand this whole Bundy Ranch event? Did you even know it was happening? And what about the POTUS landscape for 2016? Or do you even know what a POTUS is? Like a hippopotamus, or the part of the brain that controls maybe hunger? Not exactly. But you're going to be smarter in an hour. We are going to give you your world primer today on Smart Life. And I've heard a few different stories about what's going on the Bundy Ranch in Nevada. Social media has been on fire with this story. I see smart people who have come down on both sides of the fence. So, of course, we have invited someone who has been following the story closely to break it all down for us. Jordan Bostic, welcome to Smart Life. Now, for background, Jordan, I want to start by talking about what is the confusion on this issue? If you can just give us the basic overview. There was the guy who had a ranch and...
Yeah, I definitely agree with you that there's been a lot of confusion. I think even people within the movement supporting Bundy don't quite understand exactly what he is fighting for and maybe what they're standing for. So regarding Bundy and the supporters in Nevada, I think there's a lot of frustration with this military-style police involvement that's federal, not state level police. So they're coming in and they're trying to kick him off this land. We think it's about the desert tortoise, but we're not quite sure because they're not exactly they're telling us that it's about the turtle, but the turtles, they're killing them. And so there's this whole confusion, but in the end, Ted Bundy believes that the state of Nevada should own the land, and if he's going to pay fees, he should be paying them to the state of Nevada and not a bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. or the Bureau of Land Management. So
now, it's interesting because people think, okay, well, it's federal land. It belongs to the feds. I mean, why isn't he just paying his grazing fees? What is the answer to that?
Well, a lot of the other ranchers in Nevada are paying the grazing fees.
Right, and some of them are even defending him.
Exactly.
So that makes it extra confusing.
Exactly. So what I've come to understand is the reason the other ranchers are supporting him is because of this infiltration of federal agents coming in armed, being aggressive and trying to just have more of a say and have more of an influence than the local police and the sheriff that is accountable to the people. So they're frustrated with that. And then on top of everything, they're just really frustrated with the fact that the federal government owns 85% of the land. And I think that is what if we get anything out of this whole discussion and debate with Mr. Bundy, it's should the federal government own 85% of the land. And on top of that, there's also the inauthenticity of our federal government. Are they really there to protect the turtles, or are they there for another reason?
Exactly, and we've got to delve into that. Nevada, you mentioned, about 85% of the land is owned by the feds. Alaska, about 70%. Utah, 57%. You go on down California, 45%. I thought that was a disproportionately high number. It's like the less populated West seems to have most of its territory taken over by the federal government. When you look at this, it really puts in proportion the oddity that is occurring here.
And it goes back to when these states were initially became states. They were, in order to become a state, they had to enter into an agreement with the federal government to give up this land. So in my opinion, and I think most people are starting to understand that Mr. Bundy does not legally own the land. Should he, or should the state of Nevada own the land? That's a different question. But these states, in the Nevada Constitution, it says that the land is owned by the federal government.
And so what's the answer to all of this? What could go right in this, aside from the standoff where we are right now?
I think it's great that this debate is happening of should the federal government own the land, and I also think that it's a great discussion to have when we're discussing, is the federal government being authentic? Are they really trying to protect the turtles, or are they trying to protect or reward some kind of special interest?
Because the truth is, I guess, that there is a Chinese firm that wants to that Obama has some sort of deal with to put solar panels on that. And people are saying, is it really about this turtle, or is it more about this big deal we have going with China?
Exactly. And I think most people should be skeptical when you're looking at an issue as complex as this. But there is legislation sponsored by Harry Reid, SS 346 or 3346, and that legislation allows for private companies such as from China or from any other place to come in and take care of or start producing green energy.
Wow.
So they're
back to the green energy issue. Jordan Bostic, we're going to have to catch up with you again on this issue. Thank you for keeping us posted on it.